Hey guys, how's it going? Chris Reed here, Speed Read TV. Last week's episode of PhoneticFriends was supposed to be tell a story, and I was going to do that, only I had exams, and I kind of thought those were slightly more important, so I did them instead. I'm sorry. But I think I did okay, thanks for asking. This week, I'm going to tell that story as well as doing my regular video. Don't worry, there's a link to that at the end of this video. Magic, right? Magic. And I am going to tell this story based on a real story. For your entertainment, I want you to try and guess what that story is, and then you might win a prize. Probably not, but I mean, you might. It could happen. It won't be related at all to this video, but you might win a prize one day in your life. And then you can look back and be like, wow, Chris told me I might win a prize, and then I did win a prize. Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Alex, who lived with his mother. Now his mother had quite high expectations of a 10-year-old boy, and one day decided to tell him that maybe he should stop playing video games and being a layabout, and, you know, do something with his life. So he left home and he went next door to the science laboratory. Now this is where Rob worked. Rob was a nice guy, but he was, you know, a little unethical in his practices, to say the least. His latest project had something to do with electrocuting mice, but we won't go into that. Basically, Alex arrived at this laboratory just in time to see his biggest rival, Carter, who lived in the same town. It was kind of ridiculous, really. There was only 2 houses in the town, and the 2 boys that lived in them at the exact same age, for some reason, were enemies. Don't understand it. Doesn't matter. Apparently both having parents with similar minds for their children. Hey, go out and travel the world, it'd be completely safe, don't worry about it, whatever. Just, you know, climb mountains, swim underwater, it's fantastic, just do it. So, both of these 10-year-old boys were in this laboratory with this crazy scientist who I would not leave near children, I'll be honest. Probably electrocute them or something. He says to the boys, well, I wanted to write a book, but I'm lazy, so instead I'm going to get you two to write the book for me. But, here's the catch. I want you to travel the world, risking your life and limb, and possibly, like, everyone you've ever cared for, just to, you know, help me out. So, do you want to do it? And the boys were like, sure. So he was like, well, I know it's going to be a dangerous road, so I've decided I'm going to give you something to help you along the way. To Alex, he gave a small salamander. Just a tiny little salamander. Just handed him over. There you are, that'll help. Alex is like, what is this? And as he's doing that, Carter's receiving a turtle, and he's like, what is this? And so Alex turns to leave with this little book tucked under his arm. He's walking along, and suddenly that turtle hits him in the back of the head. Well, let me tell you, this salamander is furious. He goes bright red with anger, and he starts pummeling the crap out of this turtle, and the turtle's cowering with fear, and tears running down his face. And this salamander's so furious, he's red hot. His tail catches fire, and there's smoke coming out of his ears. It's crazy. And these tears start to extinguish the flame, but the flame just keeps going. And bam, 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 and this turtle like skids off into the corner, laying on his back, and he can't get up. And he faints, just passes out. And Carter picks up his turtle, he's like, oh, apparently you win, whatever, and just walks off. Just not a care in the world. It's ridiculous. And Rob just stands there looking over them, and he's just like, I remember when I was that age. And it's like, what are you doing? Well, anyway, Alex picks up his little salamander, who, by the way, has grown slightly bigger now. He's like, I'm so tough. And they walk on, and they go into the wilderness, and they start walking through towns and stuff. And eventually, they come to this gymnasium, and Alex, by now, he's got a slightly larger salamander, because it keeps growing and growing. He doesn't know when it's going to stop. It's like, it's this big already, it was this big to begin with. It's crazy. He doesn't know what he's going to do with it. But at least it's bigger now. He can punch pigeons and stuff, which is kind of useful, apparently. So they eventually get to this gymnasium, where a guy called Chris works. Now Chris, he's a big dude, like me, see? Hurrah! And he has a giant snake. Oh my god, I cannot say that on the internet.